You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. As always, please share, please subscribe, please comment. And if you want to continue the conversation beyond what you're listening to, please go to Facebook, type in Roofing Success, and join the Roofing Success Facebook group. Today, we're talking to another successful contractor out of PA, Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Eugene Smith from EAS Roofing, man. Good to have you on. How's it going today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, tell kind of the audience a little bit about yourself, how you got into roofing, and a little bit about EAS Roofing.
For sure. So I started EAS Roofing back in 2010, actually when I had my daughter. So I did roofing for about 3 years before that, straight out of high school. Did a lot of new construction, Ryan Home, Heartland Homes, some of the bigger builders in our area. It was mainly new construction. And then in 2008, the housing market crashed. So new houses went downhill, and I got into doing repair work for a company. And I was about 21 years old when I started doing repair work for him and paying commission, so I was being paid for commission. I was doing pretty well. And he said, I got to 1099 you now. So he wanted me to become my own contractor. So that's how I got started with EAS Roofing. It wasn't nothing creative, just my initials. Didn't get too creative with the name. Didn't know where it was going to go. Thought I was just going to work for him. And shortly after, he started trying to take some shortcuts. So I was EAS Roofing. So I decided to go off on my own and started being a subcontractor for Home Depot and Lowe's, and just had my one crew. It was like me and two guys. Started off with me and one guy. Just kind of grew little by little with a lot of friends and family, and grew it into what it is today, from going to home shows and things of that nature. So, but yeah, that's how I got started, being a sub.
And what was that spark that? Well, you kind of said it there. I think you said the contractor you were working with started cutting corners.
Corners, and I, that's my name's on it. So One thing about me is when I'm at a job site, I'm very personable. I talk to people like they're my friends. I talk to people the way I'd want to be talked to. And, so the homeowners started to know me. And whenever I'm on these jobs, if I see, for example, prime example, he had rubber roof cement glue, and he wanted to put it underneath rolled roofing, asphalt roofing, like Flint Lastic. And I'm like, man, you can't do that. But he had guys working for him that didn't know roofing. He tells them, bring them some glue, bring them some adhesive. They bring whatever bucket they see. And, so when there's issues on jobs, he goes, I want to turn it into your insurance. It's like, no, that's not my job. We didn't want to do it that way. That's the wrong way of doing it. And, I had my daughter, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start subcontracting. I'm going to see where it goes. And I started working with Lowe's and Home Depot. So one working for both of them.
How's that experience? I know I've talked to other contractors that have, made a good business out of that. How was that working? How did that work out for you?
Well, I think it's a great start for any company that's kind of getting off the ground, because you don't have to sell. You don't have to make a material report. The money's decent, right? If you don't have to sell, I don't have to pay a sales guy. You don't have any of that stuff. They paid pretty well. I mean, Home Depot and in our area, Home Depot was a little cheaper. I mean, it was about $75 a square less than Lowe's. But I wanted to keep both of them because, I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. So we worked for Lowe's and Home Depot. For Lowe's, I mean, I was like their problem solver. Like I said, I like to, become personable with the homeowner. I mean, we're going to be there up on the roof. When you got a couple guys, you got 2-3 guys on a roof, you're there for a couple of days. I'm not the fastest roofer. I'm not posting YouTube videos about being the fastest roofer, But we were good. We took our time on the job, and we become, personable with those homeowners. So we got a lot of referrals off of that. And it was great to build, because I always built EAS roofing, right? If I gave them a business card, they didn't care if you gave them a business card. Well, here, contact me. I gave them a business card. It's my name. And I started to get referrals off of that from working from Home Depot and Lowe's. So it was great. But the problem is when you're working for those companies, if there's a homeowner ever has an issue, it's always immediately the subcontractor's fault. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They go to me and they're, stopping payment on jobs. And it's helped me now that I have subs that work for me understand that. But it can be frustrating being a sub, but definitely helped.
Yeah, for sure. And that's an interesting fact that like your subcontracting work with these companies led to some retail jobs, right? With jobs with other homeowners through the referrals that you created. So that's an interesting thing that a lot of contractors might not think about going down those avenues. So when did you decide to go full on kind of, direct to consumer with your business, direct to property?
So when I was working for the guy for Home Depot, Lowe's, I was still advertising. I was still investing into EAS roofing and doing limited advertisements. To be honest with you, mainly with like Angie's List. That was like the golden years. Back in like 2012, we started advertising with them and doing a home show. So when I was doing those home shows, we had a lot of leads coming in for them, and I had to run them and still work for Lowe's. And then the jobs started rolling in, and there came a point where I just couldn't keep up with both of them. I'm a man of my word. So if I say I'm going to go and do this job for Lowe's, even though I'm not making the same profit on it, I'm going to go and do it. So I finished out a couple of jobs, and I told them that, I'm done. We left on good terms. They've called me back multiple times to see if I want to come back and help them out. But, EAS roofing kind of took off from that point, and it was always built on, strong customer service. The homeowners were referral based. And to this day, we still have referrals from roofs that I installed, that I was on. We still have referrals coming in from there, and they'll call me back and they'll say, how old's your daughter? How old's your son? And they gauge how old my son or daughter is on how old their roof is.
So relationships, you've built relationships with these people, with these homeowners.
For sure.
Yeah, for
sure. I mean, they'll come down to a home show and come up and hug me.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing. A lot of contractors don't, roofing contractors, I think a lot of them don't work the home show kind of circuit, right? But that's a great place to have conversations with people and to really develop some business and develop some leads. Talk about that a little bit. Where did that start? How did you guys start with it, and where's that evolved to?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I worked for that company doing repairs, I was 21 years old, and they said, hey, you're going to go work down the home show. So I started working the home show, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. But when I was down there, I walked around and I looked at all the other roofers, and they all just had shingles in their booth. Like, everybody's there selling shingles. Nobody's there like communicating, talking, building a relationship and with homeowners, at least having conversations with them. So I started going down there almost immediately. As soon as I had some money in my pocket and I wanted to advertise, I picked up at the Pittsburgh Home and Garden Show. I mean, it's the largest home show in the United States. It's a humongous home show. And so we started going there, and I believe it was 2012 was the first year we did it. So 2 years after getting started, we got down the home show and we killed it with leads. I was running everything. So I had so many leads, I couldn't keep up with them. And I wasn't really qualifying leads. I didn't even know what that meant. I meant if a homeowner comes up to me and they give me their number and they see roofing, they need something done, and I'm going to go out there and do it. I'm not working for Lowe's. I'm not working for Home Depot. So anything's got to be better than that. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I learned the hard way that having too many leads, you're not qualifying the leads and what they really want, and if it's a good fit for you and the homeowner. So every year was a learning curve, but every year we brought in more and more revenue from that job, and it was always a no-brainer to go down there. So much so, actually, this year I just brought on 2 people to do nothing but home shows. So I think she's an expert where she comes from. She's been running home shows for years. And I was fortunate enough with she lost her job where she was at, and mutual friends. I'm friends with people that run that show down there. With mutual friends, they said, "Hey, contact Eugene. He may or may not have a spot for you." And I'm excited to see where it's going to go. With everything getting back to a sense of normal.
With everyone coming back, getting out and going to events and things like that, it's probably going to be good for you. So, these home shows do produce a lot of leads, and you mentioned that kind of in the early years of doing them, you didn't qualify the leads. You just you took what all the lead and you just worked them. That kind of takes, I don't know, it's a kind of a special sales process for something like that, right? Like you definitely you don't want to waste the amount of leads that you get. I mean, how many leads would you generate for a show?
When I first started, I'd generate like 200 leads. It's a 10-day show, but I generate like 200 leads down there. One guy running them. And I wasn't obviously able to get to them all, but I was talking to everybody. I mean, anybody that walked by, I would, hey, what brings you down to the home show? You got any roofing needs? And it wasn't the right way about it. So as time went on, I started to talk to people, but I was very selective on who I would take their information down and provide them with an estimate with. Then it got to the point where I said, okay, well, I'm going to take your information down and I'm going to schedule your appointment right now. So, because sometimes then you're calling people, you're trying to get a hold of them. And so we're setting appointments at the show. And now we got, multiple sales guys, but I was setting appointments when it was just me. Okay, I'm in North Hills this day. I'm in South Hills this day. And I would split up my areas and I would run as many as I could. The sales process wasn't as involved as it is today. So I would schedule them like 1 hour apart from each other. And I would do like 8 of them a day and work 15-hour days for the whole month of March. But I enjoy it, man. So, but it's definitely a different process. You learn, every year we get better at it. That's
right. I mean, like you said, you started EAS roofing when you were 22 years old, man. There's a lot of, you're what, in your early 30s now, and so I'm sure that there were, a lot of lessons along the way. But that's a great one. So now I like that idea of booking the appointment. I think that there's a kind of a psychological connection there with a booked appointment. I would guess that those people don't book appointments with a lot of the other roofers at the show at the same time, right? I have a feeling like I've come to the conclusion that once you're on the calendar with someone, they stop searching because they don't want another salesperson at their house. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, I mean, whenever, and also like when you're booking an appointment, if you're there before me, a lot of times you go, well, listen, I got an appointment. I feel like I got to give these guys the chance. They were great down the show. I talked to them. I got to give them the opportunity to come out. So there's been companies that go down the home show and go, we want to be your last estimate. They will schedule it that way where they're like the last estimate. I'm not afraid of being first. But yeah, they'll schedule. I want to be the last estimate. And but yeah, they're gonna hold that appointment. They're gonna hold it, and we have very few cancellations from that. Some people sell it. You got some good sales guys out there that get to them. It's sold. So yeah, we get plenty of leads, plenty of revenue comes in from that show. I've seen plenty of roofers come into that show and never come back because they're not doing well. There's 30 roofers down there. I mean, it's a competitive market, and there's a lot of people down there selling roofs, garage door companies, roofs, windows, roofs, gutters, roofs. So a lot of roofers down, lots of shingle boards. Definitely no shortage of shingle boards at a home show.
So what do you do to differentiate yourself now? What does your booth look like that differentiates you from all the other shingle boards?
So yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We and I toy around with this, right? This is a big show for us. It's a big investment every year, and we toy around with it every year. One year I had the equipper down there and I had it raised up in the sky and everybody sees it. So, but when they came up, they say EAS and they're like, easy roofing. That would make roofing easy. So it was kind of like they wouldn't look at my logo. They would look at this big machine up in the air. So I quit doing that. Now I just got a picture of one down there. But, as far as like what sets us apart at a home show, we got a backdrop. We look presentable. We're in our booth. We're smiling. We try to, we got like one of the things that we did that was big is we put a sticker on the ground in front of our booth with our logo on it, because you'd be surprised at how many people you see walking around and looking down because they don't want they don't want to be talked to, right? They just talk to 20 people.
Yep.
They're not even looking at the backdrop. So just something stupid like a sticker that I picked up just watching people with their head down. You see them see a logo and they go, "Oh, roofing. Hey, honey." And they come over. So that was something that helped us. We also measured the roofs at the home show. So we would have a TV down there, a big like 50-inch TV, and we'd connect our iPad to it. And when people seeing us measuring roofs down there, all of a sudden there's a crowd and they stop. What's going on over? Why are people here? People are like herds, right? Like if there's a little bit of traffic going on there, people want to know what the hell's going on. What are they missing? It's almost worth paying people to stand in your booth and pretend like customers, because it's going to attract more people to just come to your booth and look.
It does. It does. That's a great point, man. And I've worked a lot of trade shows and, versus, home shows are very similar. The first thing you said is people don't want to look you in the eye, right? Like they kind of browse past because they know that second that they make eye contact, you're gonna start talking to them, right? And it's such a weird thing. Like we're such weird. We're weird in that way, right? We don't want to, but it again, to my point, people don't want to be sold, right? They don't want to talk to salespeople, and that's what they feel like walking through these shows. So those are great ideas. Keeping activity at your booth is, man, that's huge. It's like a car accident, right? Everyone slows down, even if it's on the other side of the freeway. Your side of the freeway will come to a slow crawl because everyone's just trying to see what's going on. We get attracted to that type of stuff. So when you're doing roof measurements, you got it up on the screen. It's something that's visually appealing to people. They're like, "Oh, what is that?" It's, they've never seen, Eagle View or whatever you're using. I don't know what you're using there, but like, they haven't seen this technology before. They haven't seen things like that. And they it gets them interested. That's great, man. And then this year you were talking about, you're starting to expand this process right into like pet shows and car shows and all of that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be in just about every show that is in our area. So the lady that came on with me, she, like I said, she's been doing it for years. So she literally came in with a binder, 4 binders at that. She opens them up and she goes, "Pow, these are the shows for this month. Wow, these are the shows for this month." And she's like, "These are the contact informations." And she's on point with that, man. She's got all that down packed, and she's got plans for it. So when she gets up and running, we're doing a 6-mile trial run, right? We want to make sure that this is going to work for both of us. She wants to be successful. She doesn't just want to get paid. She wants to be successful. And she said, "I want the first 6 months to be the best 6 months. So let's get started at the end of August." So she's going to be starting at the end of the month with this, which, we're excited about.
Yeah, definitely. And that, so then, it's a different process. And I guess, it hasn't been a proven success for you yet. So, heed the warning, or this is still in trial mode for you, going to shows that are other than a home and garden kind of specific show. But man, that's, there's eyeballs there, right? There's people there. There's people to talk to.
That's all we want.
Yeah. And that's what you got to get, that attention and have conversations that, that's why, you're out knocking doors. That's why you're, doing your social media advertising. That's why it's all to gather that attention. We were talking the other day and you said something interesting about like what the market sees was the comment I think you made to me. And so that's a big part of your marketing, right? That thought process of, hey, what does the market see?
Yeah, no, we're really big on our image, and what we present to market. So whether it be social media or a home show or our truck riding down the road. So all of our vehicles are wrapped. We like to make sure that we've got a driving billboard, but they also look professional.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of guys have 1099 sales guys that drive around in a car. Like we've bid against people where we pull up, especially at the home show, you know, so you got estimates. They're like, yep, this date, I'm going to do 5 estimates. When we pull up and there's a guy in a car, and I'm just like, man, like this guy pulls up in a car. We're pulling up in a fully wrapped pickup truck with ladder racks on it. Like it's a completely different image, you know, so we're big on that. But when we go to these different shows, we also, if we're there for a pet show, we're going to do something geared around pets and EAS roofing, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a combination, and that's where like the creativeness of Sue it comes into play. She has that down packed. She did it for a window company, and she always had a different like handout or something to just give them here. This is what we're providing you. You know, geared around what show she was at and the branding of the company. So it's definitely what she brought to the table, and it fits really well with what our image is and what we expect of our employees to portray.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. If you're at a show for around if you're at a home and garden show, you're presenting this type of information. If you're at a pet show, you're providing this type of information. If you're at a truck show, you make sure those trucks, those wrap trucks are nice and shiny and
exactly. Yep.
Showing them off, right?
Exactly.
So in that, so you got equipters, you got your do you wrap your equipters too?
So we have not wrapped our equipters, but
okay.
we are going, and this is in process as well. My guy's actually in Lancaster right now picking up an equipter, so he's on his way back. But we're going to put a like vinyl a board on the side of it, so not wood, but like an Alumalite, I think it's called, and we're going to bolt it to the side of the equipters. So if we take them down the home shows, if we ever decided to have one up, you're not allowed to have a logo that high in the sky.
No.
You can put an equipter up there, but you can't have your logo that high. So there's regulations on that. But we are going to have them logoed up so we can pull them up at the job sites and have our logo on the side of it.
Yeah. And we were also talking about, you know, in that conversation of what the market sees, you know, you've, along with the trucks and the you know the logos on everything, and you know everyone in the right apparel and things like that, you also have a storefront.
Yes. Yeah. So when I got started at an early age, man, nobody had a showroom. Wouldn't say nobody, but not very many people around us had a showroom, right? They had a garage with a logo on it, but they didn't have somewhere for homeowners to come to them. It was just their work trucks in their garage with a sign outside. So back in 2012, 2013, you know, we bought a little showroom, and it was small, man. It was really small. It was the most awkward building. It was like a triangular showroom, and it was enough for a desk and like one of certain Teed's wall mounted shingle board to get the fan through. And that was like it. But then we had a garage next door, but we had people come through there and look, and it was always something that I wanted to have. Like I always wanted to make sure we had a place of business, something set in stone that homeowners knew we weren't going anywhere. Because, you know, most people work out of their house, which is fine. You know, your overhead's down, but for the homeowner that's giving you thousands of dollars, they never have a place to come to. So with us, we're not going anywhere. That's what we always tell them. Like, we're not leaving. We own a building on Route 8. We're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. If you need us, you know where to find us. We're not hard to find. But we went from that little one to one that's a storage unit that had an office in it. Not many homeowners would come down there because it was in a storage unit and it's kind of weird. And then we moved and rented a place on Route 8 down the street. And that showroom was nice. And that was like the start of it. We grew out of that, and we said to the guy that we were renting off of, can we tear down this wall and expand our office space? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So we tore down the wall and took another section of that rental. And there was this building up here that we're currently in, and it was for sale for 15 years. And it was brought to my attention when I talked to the owner. He said another roofer was looking at this. He said it was too big for him. And I'm like, well, we're going to grow out of this. I'm not planning on just being this big. We're going to grow out of it. So, but it's good for now. And I made him an offer, and we had a couple things in common, and we made it work. And now we've got a 6,000 square foot headquarters with a 1,500 square foot showroom And then we just built in the beginning of 2020, before lumber went through the roof, we built a big storage unit, a big storage pull house, 4-car bay. It's like 50 by 35 or something like that. And it should have made it bigger. Now you always find stuff to put into these damn buildings. Like I remember having one garage bay and I'm like, this is going to be plenty. And it fills up, and you get 2 and it fills up. And now we've got 4 and it fills up. So you always find something to put in it.
You will always find something to put in it. It's the same thing around the house, right? You can get a bigger house, you're just gonna fill it. It's always just gonna. We just accumulate more and allocate that space. So what percentage do you think of homeowners that you do jobs for? What percentage of them actually come down to the showroom? You got a good percentage, or?
So they come down for different reasons. So, we may have a homeowner, like we've had a couple homeowners come down and say, hey, I want to set up an estimate. And that happens here and there. Doesn't happen that often. We might get one every 2 to 3 weeks. They come down and they want to set an appointment. A lot of times they come down and they're looking through the shingle boards. And I would say, maybe once every 2 weeks, we're getting a homeowner that comes down and actually wants to see the shingle boards, because we have this showroom, but we're in a customer service industry. So we want to make sure that it's convenient for our homeowners. Yeah. So if we've got to bring shingle boards to them, then so be it. We're going to bring them, but they want to come to our place of business. They can see a bunch of them at once. And then a lot of people come down here, make payments, make deposits, and things like that. So, we definitely have some foot traffic. It's not, it's not a Shop and Save or Giant Eagle. It's, they're going to come down here and there. We get one homeowner a week that's down our office. We just had a guy come down just today when I walked in, and he was, sitting down with a sales guy at the desk downstairs, signing a contract. So.
Yeah, that, it's with that, what the market sees, right? That you're there to stay. You're there for the long run. And like you had said, you kind of even said it, it's almost incorporated into your sales pitch. Hey, we're down on Route 8. Come see us. We're right there. We're going to be here for the long run. And I think that's a lot, that's definitely a big deal for homeowners. They want to make sure, because there's so many stories about contractors, so many horror stories, right? That's what you want to, that's what you want to portray to the market, Yeah,
we want to be the safe option, and that goes into that safety net for that homeowner. Yeah. So they give you, and you hear about it all the time, where people are collecting deposits and, not finishing the work or not starting the work at all. So it's a nice safety net for them to know where we're at.
Yeah. So now, beyond the home shows and Angie's lists, what other marketing efforts do you are working out for you, or what are some things that you've done that you wouldn't do again?
So some of the things that are working for us, like I said, referrals, repeat customers, is by far always our number one. No other advertisement competes with the relationship building of that. So we've got Get the Referral, the GTR app. So we've got our own self-branded app for referral systems in place to try to capitalize on that and reward our homeowners, because it's a pain in the ass trying to keep track of, this, who referred this homeowner. We've done 5 roofs on this street rather. How many, who referred them. So we've got the app to keep that in track. We also do the Facebook, the Google. We do some mailers too. So we get on some, different mailers, whether it be like the Clipper magazine, the Penny Saver, some local branding. So, but mainly it's online marketing now.
Yeah.
We did radio, we did television. We actually even did movie theaters where our commercial played before the movies. I've always tried to be creative in the way that we did it, but it's a lot of money, and you're advertising to everybody, and you're not really focused on the person researching, hey, I need a roof now. Like, they had that pain moment where they're in pain and they're picking up their phone and they're Googling for a roofer. That's where I want to populate up. So organically, obviously, but also we get into the paid advertisement with Google as well.
Yeah, I like to say it this way, Eugene. It's like when people are looking for a roofer, the first place that they go is their mental Rolodex, right? So yep. right? And so if they met you at a home show, if they saw your trucks around, if they've been in, been seeing you around for years, you could become top of mind to them. But when they are looking for a roof, if they don't find anyone in their mental Rolodex, I mean, most people are going to Google. They may ask a friend or family member or a neighbor, and if something like that, but the majority of those people are going to Google when they're in that mindset, right? And so what again, how I think one of the biggest things on Google, of course, is your reputation. Do you guys do anything special to build those reviews and get that, build that online reputation to be as strong as the reputation that you build with the homeowners?
Yeah, I mean, we use things like Broadly, for example. We use Broadly to build them, which worked out great. We also, at the end of our email signatures, we have logos to leave us a review on, so they can leave us reviews on those platforms. We have drip campaigns, right? So when we start a roof, thanks for going with us. We're getting started tomorrow. At the bottom of every single one of them, it's like, hey, by the way, please leave us a review. And then when we're done, we send them an email. Hey, we haven't filled a customer track record with certainty. And that's just like a little thing we send in with our warranty.
Yep.
But then, hey, we know you filled a customer track record. If you can leave us a review online, that would be great. Referrals are always our number one source, and your review could lead to a referral. So, a lot of times we just do it that way, and we've been successful with it. Definitely, it's hard to get reviews. You get somebody that's pissed off, they're going to give you a review
pretty quick.
Make 10 homeowners, and you'll be lucky to get one review. But that's the nature of it.
That's for sure. So that's why you gotta really, hit the reviews hard for the positive reviews, because if that one negative one will skew your numbers pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
So, starting out, you did roofing, right? You were a roofer. You ran the crew. You did everything. As you've built this, how many salespeople are you running now?
We have 4 guys that are doing sales for us. Yep.
So how was that? Do you still do sales, or have you transitioned out of the sales side?
No, I've transitioned out of sales. So if we get like a surplus of leads, then I will. But I haven't had to go to a sales appointment in a while. So my sales guys, I do the training with them. But 4 guys can handle leads, and they're all selling. I got one guy that just sold over $1 million project. So, my guys are known for selling over $2 million.
Yeah. So how was the transition? Like, when of now, hey, it's time to hire some salespeople. We gotta, I can't do this all myself anymore. How was that transition for you, and what lessons did you learn in that process?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, sales was one of the hardest things for me to give up. I know how to price something, but it's all in my head, so the systems to implement and okay, well, how much do I charge for this roof? This is a pain in the ass roof. I could charge, $750 a square on this job and still be competitive. And if I tell a guy, hey, we're going to charge this much per square on this pitch, and they go and look at it, they might be at $550, $650 a square. And it's a pain in the ass job. So it was rough at first, man. I luckily I had my cousin working for me, and he was kind of like my guinea pig. So we tried it out. We messed around with, how am I going to pay? Am I paying on profits? Am I paying on gross? I didn't have time to find out the profit margin on every single job, and how much material was left. Okay, we got to take that off because we had a square left over, or we had to get an extra square. I got to add that to it. It was just too much work for the amount of people we had working for us. I think for the amount of people we have, we do a lot of business. A lot of people wear multiple hats, and I wasn't able to put that task on anybody else or take that task on. So we started messing around with AccuLinks, building in the price lists with it, so they could type in the numbers. Okay, this is how much we have, and this is our profit margin that we got to set it at, and bam, here's a number. And that's what we do now. But the process in between was tough. There was times when my cousin's like, this ain't working out, man. I underbid this job, but I overbid this job. And, and I try to help them out, pay them a little bit more on this job. And then it's like, hey, you didn't meet this, man. Like, we're barely making money on this. I can't pay you for this one. So it was a learning curve. And I would say until I got my second sales guy, which is also a good friend of mine, he came on, we really got really structured with it, and it took off. And now it's just paid off of the gross, whatever they sell it for, they're paid a commission on that. They know where they need to be at. They've been with me long enough in the trainings that I put in place with, if it's this pitch, if it's close to this house, we got to go up steps to carry the trash. I trained them on all that, and they were able to actually do it without AccuLinks, and then come back in and just double check their numbers and make sure they were good. And they're always well over where they need to be at.
Yeah, that's a big part, job costing, right? You got to understand, like, there's so many nuances to it, and training people on that. I could see that as being a big challenge, but once you solve it, you've solved it, right? Like now that, like now you're making sure that the margins are there. It's more consistent. They're getting paid what they should be getting paid. The company's making money, all of that. So so here's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. You guys started off as a sub, right? So, I mean, how do you run full crews in-house now? Do you subcontract your work now? How has that transition been?
So we do have subs. So like the guys that are doing the roof installs are going to be subs. I have 2 guys that work for me that are service techs. So they're going to go out and do the repairs. We just made a big transition in our service department. These small repairs that people are going out and doing a $400 fix, they turn into, like, if you don't fix it, it doesn't last for 5 years, that homeowner's upset with you. It turns into a bad review. So we switched that. We're not going to do any small repairs anymore. So my guys that are doing service work, if it's under $500, we have a $500 minimum. So if they can take care of it, something minor, a pipe flashing, okay, $500, they'll take care of it. But other than that, they're replacing the whole section of the roof. We're giving them a bid to replace that whole section of the roof. And it's going to eliminate the possibility of a leak coming back. Because now we have a section of the roof, we can warranty that section of the roof. It's unfortunate, but it's what the market wants. You got to listen to what the market's asking for. And when we go out to these jobs, they want to be done with this headache. They don't want to feel the pain of that roof leak again. So we're giving them a solution for it. And before we were thinking about it as if I was here, right? I'd want to do it for as affordable as possible. I wouldn't want to do half my roof. I'm going to do my roof. I'm doing the whole roof. Well, some people want to do the whole roof. They just want that section replaced. And we go out there and we tell them we can fix it for $500. We're going to seal up your chimney flashings, seal up your pipe flashings, and $500 you're done. And then they actually have issues with their roof somewhere else, right? You know how leaks are. You don't find them always on the first try. So now we're just going to replace the whole section, and it's worked out well for us. It also allows us to subcontract that amount because it's a big enough job. We pay them more because it's smaller than a full roof, but we're able to subcontract to our crews that have been with us for years. I mean, these are the same guys that like help us win the Angels List Awards, the Diamond Approval Word Certainty. Like, these are our guys. They work for us year long. We take care of them because I've been there. I've been a sub, so I know how to treat people and take care of my guys, incentivize them whenever we got a lot of jobs going on that are doing good on. And we sub it out now. So I would say 99% of our work is subbed out.
Yeah. And how was that? Was that a difficult transition?
Yeah, that was really difficult. So giving up selling and pricing, right? Like, I could sell a job and have, Justin, my cousin, go and sell it, and I won't make money on it. Like, that's terrible. And I'm giving this guy the power to put my company that I've worked for so hard in a legal binding contract with somebody else. And now I'm legally obligated to provide this guy with whatever he sells. So that was a tough pill to swallow. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to hire these people and they're going to do the work. And if they mess up something, now I'm legally on the line for it. And we're always going to do the right thing. So I'm never going to run and hide. I'm going to step up and, take care of the mistakes, whether it was a mistake I made or a mistake one of my crews made. So that was a hard pill to swallow, but I was invited to be part of Certainty's advisory council. Actually 2 years I was part of it. In the first year I went down there, I'm the youngest guy down there. We went down to Orlando was the first year, and St. Petersburg was the second year. So they take us down to Florida. And I talked to all these older guys, and they're like, listen, man, that's not sustainable. It's going to be really hard for you to keep all these guys and grow. So I listened to what they had to say, and I'm like, man, I can't have somebody else come up on my roofs and install shingles. And he's like, these guys are awesome. You get the right crew, man, you will be thrilled with what happens. So I came back to Pittsburgh, and I have a voicemail on my phone from a guy that wants a subcontract off me. And I set up an appointment with him, and he doesn't show. So I call him. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Are you going to come? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be there tomorrow. And I said, if you don't come tomorrow, like, don't even bother calling me. It's over. And he comes in the next day, and I talked to him. I said, well, let's get out on a job. Got all his insurance and workers' comp and everything figured out. And we got him on a job that next week. And they went out there and they floored me with like how fast they got it done, how well it was installed. I mean, I'm watching them install every single nail, and the nailing pattern was on point. And the homeowner was so happy with how fast and how well they did it. He gave every guy a $25 gift card. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. I got my crew that's employees working on this job, and I've got my sub crew that I'm managing working on this job, and we're able to get done with the work. I mean, we were, 3 months booked out. So we were good at selling. We were good at doing the work, but getting it all done in a timely manner, it was hard to keep up with the crew that we had. So with this, it was like an eye opener. So we went down that route, and we ended up turning one guy into a project manager who was trained by me. He started with me when he was like 16. So you're watching these guys, make sure everything's done the way that I would want it done. And then I could go out and sell. And this was like the big transition period in EAS that allowed me to scale, because I was stuck at that one crew at one job, and me selling, me project managing, and, setting up material drop-offs and stuff like that. At that point in time, I had Christina, you just seen walking in there. I had her come down, and she was working part-time in the office, just trying to keep track of my jobs. And I called her when I was down in Florida, and the guys down there were like, you got to get her full-time. So I call her and I'm like, hey, you want to work full-time? And she's like, let me talk to my husband. And I said, well, I need to know. I'm home in 2 days. Let me know. I'm impatient, man. I'm like, go, go, go. I said, 2 days, I'll be home. Let me know what you want to do. And I came back, and she's like, I'm going to start full-time. So she started full-time, and she was able to manage all the crews, and my project manager was able to manage the jobs, and my other guys started doing repair work. So I had a lot of Angie's List would call in, hey, I have a leak. Can you take care of it? Right. I'd have a leak coming. It was a leak. I had nobody could take care of it because I'm making money doing the whole roof install. To send a guy to go do a $300 repair wasn't worth it to me. So I was able to start to capitalize on that and grow in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you've been really open to advice along the way. Is that and educating yourself and building and growing, in your, building your knowledge and expanding that, how is that, how have those people impacted you? The people that you met, that you were with in on the Certainty group, and different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you go down there and you see a guy doing $20 million a year and he's going to give you advice, you shut up and listen. If you disagree with it, you can disagree with it, but it's working. Like, this guy's living proof that it's working, and he's been doing it for 10 years. So, and here I am just getting, I don't want to say just getting started, but I'm new to the game. So it was all ears, man. I'd give him my opinion. And I always listen to advice. I don't take every bit of advice. I think some advice isn't good for my business. You always hear these businesses coaches, and they're telling you how you should do this and how you should do that. But there's so many businesses out there that are successful by doing things a different way. So you can't tell me this is 10 ways of being successful in the roofing industry, right? It's like, yeah, this guy's successful and he's not doing it those 10 ways. He's got different ways of doing it. So there's many ways of being successful in the roofing business, I think. And I was just fortunate enough to talk to some people that did it a way that I think that would work for me. And, some things they did, I didn't do. But like I said, I always take bits and pieces. I mean, I attend the International Roofing Expo every year. This is probably my 9th, 10th year, something like that I've attended. So I'll be down there with you in Vegas this year. But, and I've attended the International Builder Show, and I go to the seminars, and I shut up and I listen, and I'm all ears. I'm not really, I'm not much of a talker when I'm there. I'm more of a listener. I want to see what's going on and what these guys got to say. And they come back, all my guys, all my employees, we come back from an expo. You're like, oh shit, here comes Eugene. He's got a million ideas that he wants to do. And, I come back one time and I'm like, we're switching our CRM system. And they're like, what? I'm like, we're switching. And I found something better. And during COVID, we tried to learn a new CRM system and we ended up sticking with what we were on. But at least now we know we shouldn't change our CRM system. So
lessons along the way, right? So, when you're going out there and listening to people and listening to advice and being at the IRE and things like that and taking in this knowledge, and how do you filter that into what you implement or don't implement in your business?
So I got to see if it's a system that can be taken on, right? Like, for instance, like iRoofing. First time I seen that, I'm like, that's a no brainer. My guys are able to measure this job. We don't have to order quick square report after quick square report, which is what we were doing to make sure we were accurate. It was like a no brainer to me that this would work well as long as my guys can do it. So we did it for like 1 month, showed my guys how to use it, and they adapted very well to it. And I'm like, okay, we're keeping it. So like right now we're looking into roof graph. And I got my guys on. I said, okay, well, this is how we're going to have to measure it. Is this going to fit into our system? So we'll do a little trial period. I don't make decisions without bringing my team on board with them. These are the people that are going to be using it every day. So if I want to show them something that I want to use, like Sumo Quote, for example, Sumo Quotes, like their quotes are badass, man. Like they look so professional and they're done like this.
Yeah.
The problem, guys, like I'm like, this is awesome. We should do it. I show my guys and they go, well, how am I going to get that picture? I'm going to have to make 2 trips to this job. Right. So it's different things that like they see that I'm not even like really privy to. Right. I've done it, but I'm not doing it anymore. So it's something that they're looking at and they go, I like it. I love it. But let's think about how we're going to really implement this. So, but so we do it collectively as a team. I mean, I've gone down to International Roofing Expo with like 13 of my guys, like, and girls. We go down to the expo, like we're walking around. It's like a swarm of EAS down there. We're all down there. I want to get so for instance, one year, my pipe flashings. I said, look, you guys are doing a lot of pipe flashing repairs. Find a pipe flashing that if I install on a roof, we're never going to have to replace. Like lifetime pipe flashes, man, check these out. This is what we need to use. We brought it back. So I have perspectives of my service techs, my sales guys, my admin, my production team, and I get all their inputs for the things that they do every single day to make their job better. And if they're part of the decision, they're going to be, more likely to implement it and continue using it because they were in the decision process.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think the greatest insight is that you could share with our audience that's helped you find success in your roofing business?
The number one thing, man, is to treat people the way you want to be treated. No one's perfect. People are going to make mistakes. Don't make a big deal about it. I've made mistakes when I was on a job and I hate when tempers flare, like you've got to be calm, collected, and discuss what's going on. So, like I said, with my crews, they're always paid on time. They come in here and every year these guys are back. Some of these guys are out of state. They come back to EAS Roofing every single year because they know they're going to be paid on time. They're treated with respect. Something simple like buying a guy's lunch. I know everybody probably does it here and there. We take care of our guys. We buy them lunch. We take them out to a restaurant. Like Christmas parties, like our guys are at the Christmas party. I actually got a funny story. We had a Christmas party one year, and after the Christmas party, we're like, yeah, we're not done partying. We're going out to a bar. And I had a subcontractor ride a mechanical bull and like almost broke his neck. He's okay now, but he was in a neck brace, couldn't turn his neck for a while, but they're part of the fun too. They reap the benefits that EAS roofing reaps. So it's not just for employees. It's not just for me, it's a team effort. So we party with our team. We take care of our team. And, when mistakes happen, we do everything in our power to make it right. Drywall damage, we get involved on it. We don't just push it all off on it. Hey, you got to take care of this now. We get involved on it and we address it. And, I think it's treating people the way you want to be treated, man. That's all.
That's awesome. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.